We're going to begin with the latest threat Israel has issued to the people of Gaza. Amid the destruction, fear and bloodshed caused by the military's relentless bombardment, Israel has now warned 1.1 million Palestinians to move south for their own safety. This is northern Gaza, home to the Jabalia refugee camp. It's the largest in the Strip, and 116,000 people live there. The Shati refugee camp is one of Gaza's most crowded. It's also in the north, along with a large number of UN facilities and hospitals, including Gaza's largest, the Al-Shifa hospital. Israel wants all these people, including UN workers, to move to the south of Wadi Gaza. UN aid workers say the relocation of so many people is impossible. It's not clear how they could make that journey through rubble and constant Israeli bombardment to the south. UN-run schools in the south are already full of thousands of displaced Palestinians taking shelter. Israel's threatened to further increase its bombardment of the northern Gaza Strip, but the armed group has responded by calling on Palestinians to stay in their homes. Israeli airstrikes have killed more than 1,500 Palestinians since Saturday, when Hamas launched its military operation. Israel has dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza since the war with Hamas began, and more keep falling every hour. More than 423,000 Palestinians, that's nearly 20% of Gaza's population, have now been forced from their homes. Joining us on the phone from Khan Younis in Gaza is our correspondent Youmna El-Sayed. This is where the Israelis are suggesting that those 1.1 million people move to from Gaza City. You've made that journey. Talk us through what that was like, Youmna.
Yes, Nick, I've made that journey on having to make that journey, thinking about my kids and thinking about my family and what would happen to them if we did stay. The journey was a devastating journey. We had to go through rubble. We had to wait for hours for other cars that were able to get to Khan Younis from Gaza to tell us what were the routes and the streets that they drove into that were safe for us to drive into, so that we can walk away from the rubble and the bombardment. And we see so many people even on their foot with backpacks, carrying backpacks with their children, going towards the south. It's a very long way drive from Gaza City towards the south, but people are this desperate, Nick, to run for their lives, to do whatever they can in order to at least try to save their kids from what is coming, the unknown, what Israel is saying that it will carry on the Gaza Strip after 2 p.m. local time, which is right now. This is 2 p.m. local time. It gave like 24 hours since 2 a.m. in the morning until 2 p.m. this afternoon for people to evacuate, for 1.1 million people to evacuate from Gaza City and the north towards the south.
Youmna, Israel is saying that people need to do this for their own safety, but are you getting any indications that they would be any safer if they moved further south? What is security like there?
Well, how is it for their safety when Israel knows for sure, because it knows exactly every single corner in the Gaza Strip, that there is no space for these people? The capacity, the entire capacity of the government of Khan Younis wouldn't take these people. It's asking them to do something that is impossible. Israel, that it's impossible for this amount of population to add to the already enough population that is found in Khan Younis and in Rafah to get to carry all these people, and yet it is still asking them to do so. Nevertheless, it's also asking the hospitals and the UN schools to evacuate those displaced. How will these people get to the south? There are no cars working. There's no transportation. People who managed to get to Khan Younis, they drove in their personal cars. So it's basically asking people to do something that Israel for itself knows is impossible, and yet the bombardment is still going on in the southern governorate, Khan Younis and Rafah. So basically, we just feel now that we ran away from bombardment to another place of bombardment, but we're yet to experience what Israel is planning to do in the upcoming hours to Gaza City, to the northern Gaza Strip.
Youmna, we saw just about an hour or so ago, we had pictures that were being fed to us of what appeared to be leaflets that were being dropped, we think, over Gaza City, but we're not entirely sure about the location. Do you have any more information about that? Do you have any idea of what, if these were leaflets, what they were saying?
Yes, these leaflets are always dropped by the Israeli military every time they want to evacuate a certain place. So these leaflets say for the people of the northern Gaza and Gaza City to evacuate to the southern part of Gaza Strip, which is after Wadi Gaza, which starts from Khan Younis and Rafah. So it's basically telling the population for sure to evacuate, while the population is left desperately asking, how do we evacuate and where do we evacuate?
Youmna, thank you very much indeed. That's Youmna Said talking to us from Khan Younis in southern Gaza.